Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Caroline's on Broadway and the 2015 New York Comedy Festival. Caroline's on Broadway and the New York Comedy Festival are proud to present a very special live episode of Gilbert Gottfried's amazing Colossal podcast, recently named the best podcast of 2015 by The Village Voice. So please welcome your hosts, Gilbert Gottfried and Frank Santopadre.
Hi. Yes.
That's for you, my friend. Thank you guys for coming out.
We appreciate it.
Turn my phone off. Oh.
So, do I just start?
No, I'm going to thank a couple of people first.
Okay.
I just want to thank, there's a lot of people involved in putting this show together every week, and I want to thank them quickly. Darren Foster, Mike McPadden, Jessica Wynn, our photographer, Alex Brazel, Eddie Marino, Sean Marek, Frank Verderosa, who's here, records us at Nutmeg Post. Wade Snook, who does our wonderful Photoshop and posters. There'll be some on sale in the lobby afterwards, so stick around. Andrew Steven, Brian Sussman, Paul Rayburn, John Seals, Brian Baldinger, who's here, John Sullivan at Caroline's, Lou Ferranda, and Greg Charles. I hope I haven't left anybody out. And, of course, the woman who makes the show go and is responsible for everything we do, Dara Gottfried, Gilbert's lovely wife. Where are you, Dara? There she is. And real quickly, I wanted to point out another very funny man who is here tonight watching the show along the wall there. Stand up. Very funny Robert Wool from Bull Durham. Say hi, Robert. All right. Mr. G.
Oh. Hi, I'm Gilbert Gottfried. And this is Gilbert Gottfried's amazing Colossal podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Frank Santopadre, and we're here at Caroline's Comedy Club in New York City. And that's on Broadway. And it's in association with the New York Comedy Festival. And our guest this week is back with us for round 2. After recording what was arguably our most popular episode. He's a comic actor, radio and podcast personality, and a New York Times best-selling author. You know him from Mad TV and The Norm Show and movies like Dirty Work and Elf, as well as his own podcast, the Artie Quitter Podcast. Please welcome one of the funniest men in comedy and the recently appointed president of the Tracy Morgan Fan Club, our pal Artie Lang.
Thank you, Frank. Wow. What an exciting intro that was.
Yeah.
Just a list of shit I've done.
Yeah. So have you heard from Tracy?
Yeah, he calls my machine once a day. I got Walmart money. I saw Tracy's new house, and I want to say I'm happy for him, but if there's anybody here who drives for Walmart, I'll be on the turnpike. I'll be on the turnpike driving Gilbert home at 2 a.m. at exit 8H. You can kill Gilbert, that's fine. As long as I stay alive.
Was there any feedback or blowback or anything? I mean, we got
blowback?
Well, we got a ton of tweets, and I mean, it was...
tweets, yeah.
I mean, and
yeah, Artie's bloated liver on Twitter was very...
well,
I heard from obese Witherspoon.
The Village Voice review was pointed out your episode. They highlighted your episode.
Well,
so
listen, come on.
Obviously, a mark was made.
I've always been a critic darling. But this is, this got voted best podcast, huh?
By the Village Voice.
Right. That's impressive because every human being has a podcast.
Yes.
You're one in
thrilled.
6 billion. But there is a tremendous lack of excitement in the room tonight. You announced this 6 weeks ago. There's like 80 people. What other person in comedy could mention they're going to be at Caroline 6 weeks earlier and immediately 80 people show up? There's more people in Aziz Ansari's dressing room.
Well, we wanted it to be more intimate.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Me and you work better intimate.
Yeah.
This is like a clan meeting. Run by a Jew. I'd like to read the minutes from last week. No, I don't know. I mean, the people always ask me, was I kicked out of show business for the Tracy Morgan thing? You have to be in something to be kicked out of it. When young comics ask me now how you get into comedy, I have no idea. I completely forget how I got into comedy. But I know how to get out of it. There's 3 words you just have to say in the right context. And that's comedy's ripcord. You'll be working at a deli on Monday. So it's good to be back here, and thank you for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. That was Artie Lang, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't say it was going to be a long visit. I should...
You're a regular Johnny Carson. Real smooth.
That's wild. Oh, that is...
No, I should... There usually has to be a Howard story.
Yeah.
That gets... Okay, so we were doing the podcast.
Right.
And we were interviewing Howie Mandel.
Okay.
And we interviewed him backstage at America's Got Talent.
Right. At Radio City Music.
Yeah. And in his dressing room, and he was nice and fun, and Heidi Klum, who I don't know.
Right.
I was standing in her dressing room, and she was wearing just a bra.
Yeah.
And that was good.
She's got to be your favorite German.
Yeah.
It's not wearing a Klemper, Gil?
See, if Hitler would have won, it would be that's all broads would look like.
Let me tell you, for 5 minutes with Heidi Klum, I would go around the country and deny the Holocaust ever happened.
Do you think would she make you yell that out during sex? Like, say the Holocaust never happened. Who's Mengele?
So anyway, Howie Mandel says to me, he goes, "Oh, stick around. Howard Stern's coming in."
Right.
And I said, "No, it's kind of awkward." And then I'm waiting I'm talking to someone at one end of the hallway.
Right.
And and then I hear Howie go, "Howard, we got a friend of yours here."
See, but you haven't been on the show in a few years, so it's awkward. You don't know what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I step out in the hallway, and it's a long hallway, and he's at the other end, and I'm at this end, and it's like a Clint Eastwood spaghetti western. It's like kind of and neither one of us approaches the other one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was there an awkward stare down?
It was awkward, and like, imagine it was less comfortable than the Central Park jogger and the group of young black teenagers.
That's very uncomfortable.
Yeah. So it was kind of it made that look comfortable.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're saying four black kids accused wrongly of beating a woman near death and being like arraigned in court was less awkward
Yes.
than you seeing Howard Stern.
Yes.
Well, that's well put.
Yeah.
You really weave a tale. Now, Gilbert and I used to get in a lot of trouble on the show when Gilbert would come in for the news. Back in the politically incorrect days, if you did a redneck accent, you could say anything you wanted to. If you were in a character or whatever, So Gilbert and I were in the news, and we were saying the N-word quite a bit.
What episode was that? I'm trying to remember.
That's like... It's the one where they try to get off the island. And so Howard got frustrated. He couldn't deal with it anymore. So he looked at me and Gilbert. It was like me and Gilbert were in school, and you can't look at each other. You're going to laugh. Yeah. And Howard said, "Listen, enough. No more N-word. You can't say the N-word anymore. Yeah. No more." And me and Gilbert said, "Okay, we're sorry." We put our heads down. And Robin was doing the news, so Howard said, "Okay, Robin, next story." And I swear to God, Robin said, "Spike Lee has a new movie out." And that's all you heard. You heard that, and you just heard... But we were in character. So you're here doing a podcast. How much do you make over this podcast?
Oh,
a fortune.
It's big money.
Big money. Big money.
Yeah, I could tell the people working for you. I always tell people who work for Gilbert, they're all like mad because they don't get paid.
I don't know what you're talking about, Artie.
The photographer's been working for you for 6 months. She said she's down $2,000.
Artie, not to take it back to Nazis, but you told us backstage that you had a subject that you found intriguing.
People might know about this. This is a true story. New York Magazine held did a poll. They asked adults, like all the intellectuals that read New York Magazine, would you kill Hitler when he was a baby? A real, total, honest to God poll. Would you kill Hitler as a baby? And most people answered yes. And what do you think about that, Gilbert? I'm doing some quick math, and it is killing a baby, which is hard. But
Yeah.
Tim, what do you think about that?
Well, if Heidi Klum had agreed to suck my dick, I would go back in time and not touch Hitler at all.
No, but you would nurse him. You would constantly take his temperature. Are you okay, baby?
I'd bring him penicillin, anything.
Well, my take on it was baby Hitler is a fucking no-brainer. I would kill baby Ryan Seacrest. Yeah. I would kill baby A-Rod. In a fucking heartbeat. Jesus, come on, Hitler. Of course you would. Right? I mean, you saved 6 million of your people, right?
Yes, I would do it. Other people might not.
But does it have to be Heidi Klum? Going to be like
Yes. If it was Heidi Klum, I'd keep Hitler alive and happily allow the Holocaust to occur.
Now, Artie.
Yes.
I heard that you saw Gilbert.
I answered that. Yes.
It's a bad sign.
I'm sorry.
Feel free.
I didn't get my script. Oh, mine is the blue.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard you saw Gilbert's act on your 20th birthday when you got him with a fake ID.
I did, yeah. I heard on the Howard Stern show Gilbert was going to be at Caroline's. This was by the seaport back then.
Yep, the old Caroline's.
Yeah. Like about I was my 20th birthday. Me and a bunch of my friends went to see Gilbert. That had to be 1988, and we laughed. It was fucking amazing. Really, really funny. And I work with him all the time now, which is odd. And to this day, when I work with him, I still see that same act.
He's doing the same bit. the Ben Gazzara bit.
Yeah, it's still funny.
Yeah.
Gilbert wonders why 20-year-olds boo him. He's making Three's Company references.
I'm making Have Gun Will Travel references.
These kids watch, those video games like Grand Theft Auto, and you're talking about John Ritter falling over an ottoman.
I heard
we had a gig in Anaheim once. This had to be 2004 or 3, and Gilbert. There was like 1,400 kids there, 23-year-old kids.
Yes.
And Gilbert bombed so fucking bad. And at the end, he had to do a certain amount of time, or else he wouldn't get paid. So to kill that time, you just sang the Jerry Lewis song at the end of the telethon.
Oh, yes.
You walk alone.
Walk alone.
You don't walk alone.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high.
He's doing this. 24 kids from Southern California screaming, "Fuck you, faggot!" We hope you get muscular dystrophy. And then he walks off stage like he just did like his HBO special.
Yeah. And what I remember is everyone, you and everybody else from the Stern Show were there,
Right.
like
Baba Booey was there.
Yeah, and all of them. And when I walked the stage, the audience was booing me.
Right, I remember.
And all of you were up to the wings.
Great job.
Yeah.
Show business is about being phony.
Yeah.
But that was the trip. You wonder how cheap Gilbert is. That was the trip when we got back home to New York. We were waiting for our bags, and I accidentally hit Gilbert's carry-on bag, and a bunch of creamers came out. A bunch of creamers from the diner came out.
Yeah.
You never know when you're going to need 1,000 creamers.
Can I tell the audience about Lily's science fair experiment?
Oh, yes.
Is your daughter Lily?
Yes.
This is Gilbert's lovely daughter, Lily, and I came over to the apartment the other night. We were recording a couple of mini episodes, and Gilbert's lovely wife, Dara, says, Lily's doing a science experiment. We're going to take 35-year-old toothpaste and see if it still has any life. And I said, where are you going to get 35-year-old toothpaste? And then I caught myself. Because he's been collecting it from hotels, from the road.
Again, Gilbert has such beautiful kids, and you could tell they've never had a winter coat. I want to get more involved in your kids' life. I want to get them a winter coat.
Yeah.
Going to the neighbor and asking for a cup of toothpaste. Is that true? So you would get toothpaste is on sale. So when it's on sale,
I get them on
you
sale.
hoard it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hoard it. Yeah.
And you never use a cab. You walk all over the place, right? To save money.
Yeah. No. It's for my heart.
Well, you're actually the healthiest Jew on the planet.
And that's stiff competition. If it's the healthy.
Well, no, you are getting a little like your knees are knocking now. Like you look very.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How is your health?
Yeah. Oh well, I'll be dead before this podcast is over.
I asked Gilbert if he was in Vietnam. You're the only guy who was 4F in your physical from a headshot. First of all, this is the only guy I can talk down to about health. This is great. I'm talking like I'm David Beckham.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
It's like they look at me and then they look at you and go, Artie, you look great. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I pay Gilbert every once in a while to come with me on a date.
I walk along with Artie and it's like, Artie, are you working out? Jesus.
Model agencies approach me. Boy, you're with an ugly guy, but my God, you are a young Richard Gere. I would kill baby Richard Gere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, how about a baby L. Ron Hubbard?
Oh, yeah.
That would be a definite.
That's a must.
I don't know. Tom Cruise is too entertaining. I wouldn't want to put those 80 people out of work who had to find him a wife. Did you see that documentary, the Going Clear?
Oh, yeah, on HBO. It's great.
I mean, there were about a staff of like 50 people who tried to find him a wife. Katie Holmes is what they came up with.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I mean, but Tom Cruise, it pissed me off so much because remember, Tom Cruise was talking about Katie Holmes on Oprah. And he's been a movie star, a good-looking movie star for fucking 20 years. And Oprah asked him about Katie Holmes, who's like a solid, Jersey 6. I don't know. Yeah. Let's not fucking get carried away. All right. You'd let the Holocaust happen for hating But Oprah said to him, so you're dating Katie Holmes? And he jumped up on the couch like he was a 7th grader who just got his first kiss. He's like, it's so fucking... It's like when you get to the end zone, act like you've been there before. He's jumping around because he's fucking Katie Holmes. I should be fucking... Katie Holmes should be a distant memory of a blowjob he got on the set of Risky Business.
Speaking of Tom Cruise, Artie, were you cut from Jerry Maguire?
I was, yeah. I did a scene in scene with Tom Cruise and Jerry Maguire. He wasn't thrilled with me.
I'd be less thrilled with you now.
Yeah, well, he's like one of those guys. He's like one of those real go-getter guys, like a guy who's high fives you a little too hard. He's always going snowboarding. With one of Charlie Sheen's kids, he's always going snowboarding. He didn't think he felt I looked like a schlubby.
What part were you playing?
Well, it was not really. I had to play an annoying guy who had a sports.
That's a tough one.
An annoying guy who had a sports radio show, and I go up to him at the NFL draft when Kelly Preston smacks him in the face and punches him.
Right.
And I interrupt them while they're having a moment, and he kind of looks at me like, fuck off, and I leave the scene. But I memorized the scene verbatim, and Cameron Crowe wrote it, and he was directing it, and it said, take a pause before you come in. So they stopped talking. I took a pause. I came in. I said my lines, and there's all these people, like a guy with a Steadicam who's sweating, like, everybody's worried that everything's okay. And Tom Cruise looks at me and goes, could you come in quicker, please?
Yeah.
And everybody looked down like, okay, this asshole fucked it up for us. And Cameron Crowe was real nice. He came over to me and he said, look, just do what he wants to do. I'll explain to him it was, my fault and everything. And, then I did it without the pause. And he said, thank you. Real military, like, thank you. And I realized Kelly Preston is with John Travolta all day, and she's working with Tom Cruise. It's like I'm the first straight guy she saw. I was giving off that heterosexual energy she wasn't used to. Is John Travolta coming by the set? No, he's getting a massage for some reason. At the Peninsula Hotel for 8 hours.
Now, did you get arrested in the middle of that movie?
What? No.
No?
No. I've been arrested.
Yeah.
Not in the middle of a movie.
No? Oh, you make sure it's not in the middle of a movie.
That was in the middle of a...
So you're a professional. If you get arrested, but just not in the middle of a film.
It was the middle of a TV show.
Yeah.
During a rehearsal for Mad TV, I got arrested for possession of cocaine. And I swing at a cop. And I always tell people, like black people always say, did you vote for Barack Obama? And I'm like, no. And they think I'm being racist. And I'm like, no, I can't vote. I'm a convicted felon. If you take a swing at a Los Angeles cop with an 8-ball of blow in your pocket, you can never vote again.
Was there a story, Artie, about you leaving the set in pig makeup?
Yeah.
Was it Babe?
Boy, this is your life, Artie Lang. Holy shit. The most depressing thing ever.
Somebody backstage said you have to get Artie to tell this story.
Well, I mean, yeah.
You don't have to tell it.
No, we did a Mad TV. We do sketches. A lot of them were based on bad puns. In writers' meetings, we would yell out puns as a joke, and we'd end up doing the fucking sketch. They told us Tori Spelling was going to be on the show once. They got her to guest star, and she was on Melrose Place at the time, so it was a big deal. And I yelled out, "Why don't we do the Tori Spelling bee?" And they said, what would that be? And we said, well, she would spell the word nepotism.
Ah, it's funny. It's funny.
And use it in a sentence by looking at the camera and going, I like nepotism. And they sent that to her, and I got in trouble for it. I said, that was a joke. I wouldn't. But instead of Dead Man Walking, I yelled out Ed McMahon Walking as a joke. They made me up as Ed McMahon, and I did the sketch. So we did a sketch called Babe Watch, which was Babe the Pig in Baywatch as a lifeguard. And for some reason, I played the pig. But the woman who did makeup on that show was a woman named Jen Aspinall. She was a Saturday Night Live alum of makeup, and she was great at prosthetics. She put 3 hours of prosthetics on me on location in Malibu. I had to get there at 4 a.m, and at the end, I looked like a fucking pig. I mean, I had a pig snout, like the ears. They put 6 pig teats on me because the joke was going to be I had a bikini top on each teat. They said, all right, you got about a half an hour before we start shooting. Go in your little, your trailer. So I go in the trailer and I'm eating. They brought me breakfast, and I look at the mirror and I'm like, first of all, I can't get the food in my mouth, and secondly, I look at and it's a pig. I look like a pig eating, and I fucking lost it. I said, this is not why I got into show business. I freaked out. So I called my Coke dealer and I said, You got to get me cocaine. Otherwise, I'll never get through the day. So my Coke dealer was this guy. I had a contact in New York when I was struggling doing stand-up. And when I got out to L.A., I said, do you have any contacts in L.A.? And of course he did. And the guy he's dead now, but he was a Rastafarian guy. He was the coolest motherfucker I ever met in my life. You know the Dos Equis commercial, the coolest guy ever? That's what this guy was. Like, no matter what time of the day, like 9 a.m. on a Tuesday, he was at a party in a tuxedo. Like Harvey Keitel in Pulp Fiction. Always had broads around him, Corvettes, just like a cool motherfucker. And he was the best drug dealer ever. If anyone knows about drug dealers, they're never on time. They tell you they're going to be in Atlantic City. You get to Atlantic City, they're late. You call them, they go, nah, man, I'm in Delaware now. And you got to drive to Delaware. And but he would beat you to the place. Like, he was fucking a good businessman. So I called him, and he was around the area of Malibu. I said, dude, I gotta get some blow. He goes, can you get to Duke's? It's a restaurant on the Pacific Coast Highway. Can you get to Duke's? And I said, yeah, I could do that. So he goes, meet me there in a half an hour. So I run out of my trailer, dressed like a pig in full pig. I grab my car keys, I bolt to my car, get in my car and drive away like a pig. And the assistant directors, it's their job to make sure that doesn't happen. That's their whole job. So they're yelling at me, Artie, where you going? Where you going? I do about 90 miles an hour on the Pacific Coast Highway towards Duke's. Now, I get to Duke's. He's fucking waiting for me there. I said, were you at brunch at Duke's? So I never told him what I did. I was afraid to tell him I was on a TV show. I kept that part, secret. He just knew I always had money on me. And I get out of the car. I approach this guy. Now, realize I forgot what I looked like, I'm trying, when I want to laugh, truly laugh, if I'm down, I think of the guy's face when he saw me. He looked at me, and I'm dressed like a pig. I forget I'm dressed like a pig, and full snout and everything. And he looks at me and goes, damn, man, what kind of shit are you into? He must have thought I was at like an Eyes Wide Shut party with the masks. And I said, oh, no, I realized what he was looking at. I said, I'm on a TV show. I'm playing Babe the Pig, and he asked me about the sketch. I'm like, let's talk about this later. At my Kennedy Center Honors for Comedy, we'll talk about it. I'm sure they'll call you to say a few words. So he gives me the cocaine. I go into my car, and I want to do a hit immediately, and I put some on a key of they call it a key hit, and I very creative. And I put some on the key, and I go to do the cocaine in my car, looking around for cops. It's broad day. It was like 8 a.m. People are jogging. Like hot chicks are jogging with their dogs. I try to get the coke in my ear, in my nose, but I can't get it through the pig nose. I couldn't get the cocaine in the pig nose. And I'm thinking to myself, I got to be the only human being on the planet who's ever had this problem. So I was so desperate, I said, fuck it, I gotta break the nose. 3 hours. 3 hours of prosthetics. I broke through the nose. I hit a couple of them. I felt better. I raced back to the set. I stopped on Topanga Canyon there's always hot chicks around, hiking and shit. And next to me there was a beautiful girl in like a Lamborghini, like looked like Christy Brinkley on vacation. She was smoking. And I looked over at her, and this is what she was looking at me, and this was her face. Because I did another key hit, and I realized she was looking at a pig doing cocaine. And I rushed back to the set. They saw I had another hour to fix my fucking nose. All day I kept breaking the nose, like every half hour. And it was terrible. They put us in a little motel to stay overnight, and because we had to work the next day, and I had to be there at 4 a.m. again. At some point in the middle of the night, I shit the bed. I shit my pants. Just all the badness came out of me. I woke up the next day. It was like Waltz and The Godfather with the blood. With the horses. It was all blood. It was all shit. I took a boiling hot shower. I had no time to clean it up. I put the bedspread over it and I left. We finished the sketch. On the way home, I realized that the room wasn't in my name. It was in the assistant director's name. So I almost got them fired, and they had to probably pay for a shitty bed. And but they never said anything to me. They were professionals. They never said anything to me. So that's the story.
It's worth it. What? Our first Godfather reference. You want to talk about some old movies?
Sure,
you're a movie guy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, can you tell first?
Uh-oh.
This pales in comparison.
I should have closed with the pig.
Yeah. You got it. You can't.
Tell the story about the time you twisted your ankle jogging.
Yeah. You can't open with "I was shitting dressed as a pig." But I remember you telling me you were in your apartment with your girlfriend,
right?
And you called your dealer,
right?
And he was going to come over with some drugs,
yeah.
And your girlfriend said to you, we should do something fun. We should go to Hawaii,
right?
And you said to her, in a couple of minutes, I'm having Hawaii delivered here.
Yeah. That's when she started packing. Go ahead, Frank.
You got that story out of the way? That's a good one.
That's a great impression of me, too. Close your eyes. It's like I'm.
When you do a podcast, what you want to do is have a microphone in front of you. Because that records it better if the microphone is by your mouth. If it's behind you, then it sounds muffled. And you want to get a lot of listeners. If you get hardly any listeners, they consider that a failure.
Well, you took the microphone advice, but not the... Work on that second thing.
What do you guys want to talk about? Let's just try to get a little bit on theme.
What movies are you going to
talk about some stuff from the 70s. The last time you were on, we talked about Godfather. We talked about how you were obsessed with The Odd Couple and The Honeymooners, and we were all over the place.
That's all I watched as a kid. I mean, again, I think Gilbert has a similar experience of if I didn't watch The Odd Couple and Honeymooners when I discover them in the first grade, I could have gone to medical school. The space I took up in my brain.
Yeah, me too. And we just lost Al Molinaro, Murray the Cop.
I know. I saw Murray died.
A couple of weeks ago.
I hate when people think of him as from Happy Days and not The Odd Couple.
Yeah, that was in all the obits. Happy Days. Yeah.
No one mentioned in
The Odd Couple.
Yeah.
It was all Happy Days.
That's fucking
not
depressing.
One mention of him as Murray the Cop.
It's depressing as hell. People are known for the shit that they do, not the good stuff.
Well, like when Rod Steiger died,
Right.
and I mean here, like
My applause. Who knows who Rod Steiger is? Oh, good. All right.
So
Great actor.
here he's done, on the waterfront, The Heat of the Night,
Pawnbroker.
The Pawnbroker,
Right.
Legendary film.
Al Capone. He's the best Al
Yes.
Capone. Yeah,
Right.
And when he died, all of the news channels were showing that scene in Mars Attacks where he's yelling and they shrink him down tiny and they turn his voice to a Mickey Mouse sound.
That's sad.
And I thought that's what.
What would they show for you when you died? Is there tape of that gig in Anaheim?
Yeah.
Well, you got the parrot in Aladdin, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
What about that?
Sure.
And then you got the tweet about calling Koreans not. What'd you say about Korean?
Japanese.
There's the Jap where you call
yeah.
Japanese.
Get it
not-
right.
You said they're not human. That one. Right? There's that.
Hot to trot.
There's Aflac.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'd be Funky Monkey.
Funky
I
Monkey.
was in with
What about
Matthew Modine.
the Bill Cosby episode? You're in the most watched Bill Cosby ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he try to rape you? Did you see him?
What do you mean try?
That's how you got the part.
Yeah. It was a big show. He
But
didn't
what
have to rape me
what
for
did
it.
He wasn't there on a Thursday. Or something.
Let me just fuck you in the ass and the part's yours, Gilbert. Ho! Let me stick my black dick in your little Jew asshole and it'll make you scream out. Ho!
That should be when you die.
That's the bit. That's the obit.
Remember, the thing that surprises me the most about the Bill Cosby story is how good he got at putting women to sleep. It was like he became an expert Vegas hypnotist or something. On 3, you're going to go to sleep. You're going to go to sleep. And you're asleep. And I'm not raping you. I'm not raping you. I'm not coming on your back. I'm not coming on your back.
Oh, God.
If you find cum on your shirt, that's Malcolm Jamal Warner. That's Malcolm Jamal Warner. And you're awake. You're awake. What did he tell you, though? He told you something about why... The assistant director told you why he wasn't there. Because he did something every Thursday.
Oh, my God.
This is a true story.
Oh, my God.
I don't know this story.
Yeah. This story I heard from someone who worked on the series. That
When you were dating Tempest Bledsoe.
that there was a certain portion of the day set aside, like 3 o'clock or whatever, where he allegedly
Please throw that in.
where he gave he taught Asian models. He gave comedy lessons to Asian models. And this is why there are so many funny Asian models now.
That's why in the 90s we saw so many funny Asian models. That is so specific.
Yes.
Who would say that with a straight face? Like he gives Asian models comedy lessons. What? You would tell somebody who works for you under no circumstances. Do you tell somebody, I give Asian models comedy lessons?
See, but to prove it's true, just today a Chinese girl came over to me and said, "Hey, how's it going, lady? And you going
As a matter of fact, that means Connie Chung used to sign off the news. This was weird. Now it makes sense. Connie Chung would sign off the World News Tonight by going, hey, hey, hey. Connie Chung. That's the news. Hey, Badaba. Hey, Alba Badooba. She put a hat on like Rudy.
With the eye holes.
Oh, yeah, the eye holes hat.
Last night, I was fucking Lucy Liu.
That's the funniest thing she's ever done.
And in the middle of orgasm, she yelled out, "Hey, Zagali, and you go
No, the local newswoman, Katie Tung. I used to fuck her. And when she orgasmed, she would yell out, "Jello bread pudding!" Yeah, the kid on Fat Albert had that mask with the eye.
Oh, yes.
Connie Chung needed slanted eyes.
You mean Mushmouth or the other guy? Wow. Speaking of Asian models, I'm going to do a segue here.
I'm glad I'm in shape.
You want to tell Artie who we've been pursuing to be on the show?
Papillon Susu. She is the girl. Thank you.
Thank you. Pappy and Susu's mom.
Is that the person Steve McQueen played in the movie?
No. She was the girl in Full Metal Jacket who went, "Me so horny."
Wow, really?
No, actually, when it was re-released in the 80s, she said, "Me so horny."
Now, Papillon, I've seen you reel. Have you thought about trying that another way? Me so horny. She wrote the biggest hit Two Live Cruise song.
Yes, yeah.
She's actually not even in show business anymore.
Yeah.
Somebody tracked her down for us.
She's not in show business. Neither is Matthew Modine. Frank just seriously said, she's actually not in show business anymore.
Well, she's a foot doctor living in London. Kid you not.
Yeah, because we called her, and she said,
I'm a foot doctor, and I'm taking the feet, and I'm looking at the toes. You got a fungal infection on your toes.
Oh, boy.
By any chance, are you so horny?
I'm so horny I could go,
Me so horny. Oh, that's fucking funny.
You want to talk about some 70s mom movies?
I feel like young people don't remember 70s movies anymore. They already forgot them.
You know, our show is, it's all that kind of arcane shit and old movies.
A kid will come, it's flattering, but a kid will come up to me and say, my favorite movie of all time is Dirty Work. I go, you really should rent The Sting.
Gilbert is not a fan of The Sting.
Not a fan.
Not a fan of The Sting.
I didn't do it for me.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So honestly, it's one of my favorite.
The five of you in the audience can leave. Yes.
Did you like The Sting too?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, with Jackie Gleason and Mac Davis.
Right. Oliver Reed.
And
That's right.
Terry Garr.
Right.
It's a classic.
No, but why don't you? What you just didn't like The Sting?
I never really got into those whole, scheme movies, and I always rooted.
You make
for
it sound like an episode of The Rockford Files.
But yeah, I always rooted for the villain to win.
You like Robert Shaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, you rooted for Robert Shaw's character.
Oh, yeah.
The Sting.
What about his performance
he's
in that
great.
alone? Is like,
Yeah.
You're past posting, aren't you, Kelly? How?
Plus, you got all those great character actors in there: Harold Gould and Ray
Charles
Walston,
Durning.
and
Jack
Charles
Kehoe.
Durning, and Jack Kehoe.
Yeah. No, but for Robert Shaw alone in that movie, it's just fucking. You see that guy, Floyd? Take a good look at that face, Floyd. Because if he ever finds out I could be taken by one lousy grifter, I'd have to kill him and everyone else looking in a muscle on my Chicago operation.
Pretty good.
You follow? Have them taken care of. We got to discourage this sort of thing. Nothing fancy. You follow? Give me the books. No, I do. I enjoy that movie a lot. Well, okay. What? There's no like con movies you like. You don't like any what do you say when you see a scheme movie? You mean a crime movie? What do you mean by a scheme movie?
What about House of Games? That's a good con movie. The David Mamet movie.
House of Games.
That's a good one.
I never saw. Who's
That's
in
good.
that?
Joe
Yeah,
Mantegna.
it's a David Mamet.
Oh yeah. I like David Mamet a lot. Yeah, but how old is that movie?
80s.
House of Cards. It's about your career.
Yeah.
House of Games.
Oh, no, House of Cards. I'm sorry. That's with I think Sarah Michelle Gellar's in that. My I told you that story about what my uncle told me about the show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Did I ever tell you that?
No,
The
I
last
don't know.
5 years of his life, he's an old Italian guy. It's the funniest thing I think a human being has ever said. Some of you might have heard me do it because I did it in my stand-up, but it's worth telling Gilbert here on the big podcast. The last 5 years of his life, he would eat mozzarella like an apple, just like eat it like, And he watched nothing but 24 hours, 7 days a week, he watched TV. And his favorite show was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I got up the balls one day to ask him about it. I said, Uncle Son, why do you like Buffy the Vampire Slayer? I go, what is that show about? And he looked at me dead serious and he said, it's a Jew broad fights Draculas.
Hilarious.
I said, you should write the synopsis and TV guide. Jew broad fights Dracula. But I thought of the research. You got to watch the end to see her name, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
I figured it's a Jewish name. And he said plural Draculas, plural.
It sounds like one of those William Bodine one-shot Jew Broad fights Dracula.
Oh, yeah. I laughed for... That's the only thing I've ever had a quote for my personal life I didn't have to change. For my stand-up, I said it as is, and I got to laugh. It was like ready. It was show ready. Yeah. But I like the 7-Ups. Remember that?
Yeah. On my card.
Right, yeah.
You're like, well, that's the... How could you not like this thing? To me, it's the best script maybe ever written, too.
Yeah. Didn't do it for... Oh, and I absolutely hate any of the Ocean's 11 movies.
No, I do, too.
Horrible.
The Sinatra ones you could laugh at because they're goofing on everybody. You
Yeah.
could tell, like, Sinatra just yelling at the director. You could probably
Yeah.
see it. But, yeah, the other ones are like, who needs to see those guys get laid in Vegas?
Yeah.
But so you've been in all the Problem Child movies. Is that why you? So you think are they better than The Sting? You think?
Yes. Even Problem Child 3, which no one saw.
Have you turned down any Problem Child?
No. I haven't turned down anything.
Are you the only
Yeah.
actor? Are you the only actor, even the Problem Child, that turned it down? eventually?
Yeah, they got a different problem child.
3. Problem Child 3 was made for television. Didn't have the kid.
Yeah.
Didn't have John Ritter.
Just you.
Didn't have just me. Yeah.
Weren't you in the animated version, too?
Oh,
the problem
yes.
child? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, God, that was horrible. It was one of those cartoons that looked like a flip book where it has better animation.
So what do you get paid for, like, the TV version? Do you give away your salary? Do you talk about money?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Well,
You're very tight with money.
yeah, yes. Me?
Well, how much? What are you worth? You've saved every dime.
Yeah.
Have you fully spent your first check from SNL in 1980?
I haven't fully spent my check from Chuckles in Long Island.
I remember that place, Mineola, Long
Oh,
Island.
yeah.
So-
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, my God.
Long gone.
Yeah, that's gone. Oh, you guys from Mineola? All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jericho Turnpike.
Yeah, Yeah, that place didn't have too many dirtbags in the audience, man. That place was classic for drunk Met fans. Yeah, if you were bombing, you just had to say Wally Backman, and you got to fucking.
What about some of these, Artie? Charlie Varick, Friends of Eddie Coyle, some other crime films from the 70s.
Yeah, Friends of
With
Eddie
Robert
Coyle.
Mitchum.
What else?
Robert Mitchum and Peter Boyle.
Yeah.
And Stephen Keats.
Yeah, and Alex
I think
Rocco.
is in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a TV film.
No, it's a
No,
feature.
no,
I
It's a
never
feature.
saw it. Friends of Eddie Coyle.
Oh,
You gotta
very
see it.
good.
You got to see
Oh,
it.
yeah?
Yeah, it takes place in like New England.
Yeah, it's very good. Point Blank, which we talked about on the show with Lee Marvin. You ever see Prime Cut with Lee Marvin and Gene
Yes,
Hackman?
I've seen that. Not in a long time.
That's a
though.
great one.
My God. I just remember Lee Marvin as a kid. The first thing I remember about Lee Marvin was some woman was suing him.
Oh, Michelle Triola.
Yeah,
yes.
Michelle.
Yeah.
And
The
I remember,
palimony.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
One of the first, remember Dan Aykroyd used to do Jane, You Ignorant Slut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the first subjects of the Jane, You Ignorant Slut. They were talking about Lee Marvin. Jane, You Ignorant Slut. He called Michelle Triola a rapacious swamp sow.
And dried up slunk meat.
But that was like the first big divorce.
Yeah.
She took
Yeah,
him
it
for
was
a lot of money.
His first palimony case.
Yeah.
And I heard a story that Roger Ebert
Right.
was once sent to interview Lee Marvin at his pool, and Lee Marvin's there in a bathrobe and a bottle of scotch and a cigarette, and they have their little dog bouncing around there, and his wife, who had been out of town, just is coming back with her suitcase, and she says hello to everybody. And then she sees the dog has something in its mouth.
Right.
And she goes, "Oh, what's that in your mouth?" And she takes it, and it's a pair of women's underwear.
Wow.
And she goes, "These aren't mine." And Lee Marvin looks down at the dog and goes, "Bad dog."
Oh, that's great.
That's when guys were so much cooler. They were so much cooler back then. That's like a Sinatra. One of my favorite Sinatra stories. He was golfing with his manager, and his personal appearance agent called him up and gave the manager an offer for Sinatra. They're on the golf course, and it was like $75,000 to go sing for like an hour at some place in Arizona. And the manager said, "Can you want to do this on Sunday?" He goes, "How much?" And the guy yells back to Sinatra, $75,000. And Sinatra says, "Tell him I got that on me."
That's great.
So you're saying it's not enough?
I heard, speaking
Bad dog.
That's great, isn't it? I heard you talking about Frank Sinatra and Angie Dickinson on one of Artie's episodes.
Well, I remember. Was that the one with the driver?
Yeah.
I once had this woman pick me up at the airport,
Right.
And we got into a conversation, and she claimed to be the love child of Frank Sinatra and Angie Dickinson.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And so she's driving you, so
Yeah. so
stuff's not going
obvious-
well.
Yeah.
She didn't get any of the policewoman
Yeah,
money.
yeah, nothing from Strangers in the Night.
I remember one of the first shows. What was the movie where Angie Dickinson? She's like about 45, but she's in the shower. And she's
Dressed to Kill.
She's washing her pussy. Yeah, Dressed to Kill.
Yeah, De
I
Palma.
remember seeing that, and I've always held a woman up to those standards for washing pussy. She really pays a lot of attention to her.
The first U.S. president was washing pussy. Yeah, this is an educational show.
What about with the election, Gilbert? Do you do any?
Yeah, he's very
Do you
political.
do any? You do any political?
He's very political.
Current stuff on that.
He's like Mark Russell.
How about that Eisenhower?
Well, you're doing a lot of stuff about the war.
Oh, yes.
Vietnam. Of course.
Yeah.
What about Trump? I heard you taped a special. You like Donald Trump, don't you? Because you were on Celebrity Apprentice.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And you didn't get the job.
No.
Dennis Rodman got the job.
Surprisingly.
You lost out a job to Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, well.
That's not rebounding a basketball. There's one job Dennis Rodman's qualified for.
You've never done political comedy, have you? In
No.
all the years?
No.
No. It interferes with the Norman Fell bits.
Yes.
It's in the way.
Well, it's out of the 18 jokes that he does.
Yeah, right.
But no, you know, well, Trump. Would you be scared about Trump getting in? I mean, are you registered as a Republican or any child molester?
He goes door to door.
Those fake teeth ought to be expensive.
I'm trying to get arrested before the next election.
All right. Well,
Let's talk real quick, and then we'll take some questions. Because we talked about old TV with you on the last show.
Yeah.
And we didn't get, I know you were into The Odd Couple. I know you were into The Honeymooners. I heard you guys talking about the old Dean Martin roasts.
oh yeah, my God, they were great.
And Foster Brooks.
Right, Don Rickles.
And Rickles and Ruth Buzzy. And
Every joke they do, I saw Red Fox was getting roasted. Every joke they do would get them thrown out of business. Out of show business today.
Oh, yeah.
Every single joke was the
Right.
most offensive racist joke. And it was on Channel 4 at like 8:30.
Right. That's right. That's right.
I mean, really crazy stuff. Like, what did you say you heard a joke that Rickles did or something about Red Fox?
That one I had. What the one bit I remember? Yes. Somebody told me a joke. I met Ed McMahon.
Right.
And I asked him if he had any Benny stories. And he said when he was starting out in the business, he got luckily invited to a roast.
Of Jack Benny?
Of Georgie Jessel. And Jack Benny went up. And so he was already thrilled to
Right.
be looking at Jack Benny. And Jack Benny goes, you know, George has to fly to Israel tonight. You see, he's got a cunt in hiding. And he goes, I don't mean a woman, I mean an actual cunt. He wears it for a toupee.
Anybody under 80 years old can beat the traffic at this one. You know what? Johnny Carson said this about Red Fox. He said, it's good to be roasting Red Fox because his ancestors came up with the idea of roasting people.
We have George Schlatter coming on the show, the creator of Laugh-In. He's coming on in a couple of weeks and promises to tell some great Red Fox stories.
He produced all of those.
Yeah,
and all
produced the
Rickles would
roast.
do would be like a stereotypical black accent. He wouldn't even tell a joke.
He also
He'd be
produced...
like, hello there.
And remember that TV movie of the Rat Pack?
Yeah, with Ray Liotta playing.
Oh, yeah. And
HBO,
Don Cheadle.
Right.
Don
playing Sammy.
Cheadle.
Don Cheadle.
Is Sam, because he's always funny.
Yeah.
And they've got parts in there where it's like you see Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra do like a black joke.
Right.
And now it's not, because it's a current film,
right.
They zoom in for a close-up of Don Cheadle with tears in his eyes looking downward. Like so hurt by this.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking Sammy Davis was rich and getting loads of pussy.
Yeah.
He didn't mind the black
Of
joke.
course not.
Yeah.
I think it was white pussy. Duh.
Yeah.
Keep the Swedish pussy and the racist jokes coming. I'm fine. No, but there's nothing more politically correct than TV. TV commercials now. The only time in the last 20 years I saw a white guy rob a house was for a commercial for a burglar system.
Yes, and
God.
and it's a black guy protecting the house.
It's always a black guy in an $800,000 house.
Yes.
And a white guy like from the 30s, like a Queens Irish guy going, where do you keep the dough? Yeah, no, those commercials are unbelievable. Or the beer, the Pepsi commercials during a football game. It's an Asian kid, a white kid, a black kid, a Spanish kid. They're all watching the game together.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Where does that fucking happen? That's like the Google waiting room for fucking...
Right, yeah. You guys were also talking about Billy Saluga on the old...
Billy Saluga?
Yeah, Ray J. Johnson on the old roast on your
You
show.
could call me Ray.
First of all, yeah, we you know the Ray J that Kim Kardashian blew? Our generation has a Ray J too. He's a white guy that talks like a black guy. You could call me Ray J. You can blow me now.
Yeah,
Ray J was on like the old
the roast.
Red Fox stuff.
Yeah.
He built a lifetime career of like going out in kind of a zoot suit and a big hat.
You guys
and a
remember
cigar.
Billy Saluga? Ray J. Johnson?
Well, you could call me Ray, or you could call me J, but you don't have to call me Johnson.
That's the guy.
And he built a career on that.
Absolutely.
It was like Father Guido.
Oh,
It was a similar kind of, like a
but he was a great
persona.
writer.
Yeah, Don Novello. Yeah, great writer.
Wrote a lot of stuff. But, Ray J.
Ray J.
You could cover. I just realized that's the same name of the guy Kardashian blew. I forgot about that.
We got to get Billy Saluga on the show.
Oh, yes.
Do one show with Billy
What
and
are the
Papillon
odds?
Susu.
If he's alive, he's got to be in
he's
the
alive.
actor's home.
No,
How do you know he's alive? You're talking about he's alive. Like, I'm supposed to know he's alive?
And
He was 62 in 1978.
I just met a Korean girl in a massage parlor, and as she was jerking me off, she said, well, you could call me Ray, or you could call me Jay, but you don't have to call me Johnson.
Yeah. There's the promo.
that was his act.
That's going to bring in a lot of the young kids. I can see the review of the festival. The review of the festival, the Arts and Leisure section of the New York Times. Gottfried's Ray J impression set the tone for the classiest, smartest festival we've ever seen.
Obviously, you haven't been listening to checking out our bookings.
The Billy Saluga talk.
Yeah.
On the Gilbert Gottfried Colossal podcast was hard to follow.
Artie, he spent weeks tracking down a woman who was in the movie Ghost of Frankenstein for 5 minutes.
Who did you did?
Yeah.
Janet Ann Gallo.
Really?
As a child star.
And
as
how'd
a
that
child
happen?
actress.
What, did you find her?
Yes.
got her.
What happened?
She was the little girl who's playing ball in Visaria, and these boys take the ball and throw it on a rooftop.
Yeah.
And Lon Chaney Jr. as the monster
course
shows
he does.
up, and he carries her up to the roof to find the ball.
Wow.
And she said on the show that she was a little, she was like 5 or something, and she used to play hide and go seek with Lon Chaney and Bela Lugosi.
You jealous now?
If we were playing a game show called Guess What Part of This Podcast Will Be Edited Out? I'd have to go, it's gotta be the Lon Chaney, Bela Lugosi. Anecdote. Oh, God. You're right. We're gonna edit that out, Art.
All right, let's take some questions from these people. Anybody about anything? Gentlemen, right there.
You want to know, do I know any Asian women? Okay.
Do you want to know
Yes.
what my website is? Good question.
Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast on GilbertGottfried.com.
Of course.
Subscribe to it on iTunes and SideshowNetwork.tv. You can sit down. Yeah. No.
What do you got?
What's the question?
Oh, Rochester. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your wife's going to get a look at the big city, man. I don't know. She ain't going back to Rochester.
Gilbert, I was wondering if you could recreate a kind called Gary Delabate about being back on the Stern Show, and if you could do an impression of him when he told you, "Oh, we don't do comedians anymore."
Let me just repeat it so the mic
yes.
picks it up. You want him to do an impression of Gary Delabate when
You recently called him.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving a question we need a half-hour setup for, sir. we'll just show a 2-hour documentary on the lead up to your question.
Yeah. Yeah, because we asked. So my wife called him and asked, "Is Gilbert banned
Well, you have been
from
on the show
show?
for 4 years.
Yeah, so maybe I was a little suspicious. and he goes, "Oh no, nothing like that, nothing like that. We just don't use comedians on the show. We don't put comedians on the show. We don't." And I'm thinking, oh, that's an entertaining show.
Well, that morning, Chelsea Handler was on.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But then I realized that probably means they don't consider her a comedian. Because no comedians do.
And we were talking about her because she was on that Ancestry.com show.
Right.
And they found out, like, her father was a Nazi.
Right. I would kill baby Father Handler.
Nice callback. Did that
I would
answer your
kill
question?
baby Chelsea Handler.
The gentleman there in the white T-shirt, sir. What's the funniest film each of you have seen, Artie and Gilbert?
Well, having made several of them, I know the old standards for me are Take the Money and Run. The first Woody Allen movie's got
that's great.
It's got 4 million jokes in it. Of course, then he married his daughter. But by the way, I saw Sun Yi and she said, "I'm married, my."
He said, I'm marrying Woody Allen, and he's gonna put me in the bed and stick his dick in my
I married the one Asian broad who fucked Bill Cosby.
So take the money
Take
and
the
run.
Money and Run. An Animal House.
An Animal
I guess.
House,
I had to choose 2, I guess. I don't
good.
know.
my favorite comedy would have to be House Guest with Sinbad. Yeah.
House guest with Sinbad.
Anything with Sinbad.
Anything. Anything with Sinbad. Let's
That
just
was such a horrible movie.
House Party with Belle Biv DeVoe.
Oh.
What's the one that has all the McDonald's product placement?
That's
in it?
House
House
Guest.
Guest, yeah.
Yeah.
Schindler's List was funny. And
This gentleman right here in the stripes.
Yeah, I just want to ask you both. Who is the funniest individual celebrity you've met?
Who is the funniest individual celebrity you've both met? Gil, you can go first.
funny. Go ahead. The funniest individual. You mean like
individual
funny
celebrity.
to laugh at or with? Like we think he's funny.
You mean comedic? Someone who makes them laugh.
Okay, go ahead, Gilbert. Who is that?
Let's see.
Paul Reiser.
Yeah. Yakov Smirnoff. Because I'll never forget.
You don't get your own theater in Branson, Missouri without being funny.
Because he said to me, you know, in America, you sit at table. In Russia, table sits at you. What a country!
I got a modern day Yakov joke.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
In America, you're men afraid of gluten. In Russia, we afraid of Putin.
That's very good.
I don't know. Well, Gilbert's mine. You've got to be mine. You're one of the funniest guys I've ever met.
Yeah.
Thank you. That part's staying in the show.
Celebrity.
He said celebrity.
The funniest line of the show was said by an audience member.
This gentleman right here.
My question's for Artie Lang. I'm considering losing weight. How do I do
You're considering losing weight. How do you do it, Art?
There's a chick that could help you. My trainer, she's a girl, Crystal Meth.
Let's do two more quick ones from other gentlemen standing up there. You wants to ask about Artie's union upbringing, and Artie, what does Jersey mean to you?
What Jersey means to me? Well, Jersey's the only town where. I'm sorry. Well, no, I'm from a town, Union. Here's the kind of town Union, New Jersey is. Union is the kind of town dogs walk around afraid they're going to step in human shit. No, it's. My father gets a bad rap, but he was the greatest father ever, and he gave me so much great advice, like how to steal a snowblower. Nah, he was. In 1981, I failed typing, and he was a real visionary. Now everything's based on typing. In 1981, I told him I failed typing, and while he was unloading the sheetrock from his van, he said, "Don't worry, typing is for fags." That's why I've yet to send an email.
Let's get two more quick ones. I want to get one from a woman. But we don't have too many women that listen to the show. This lady down right in front.
Politics? Oh. Is this where you come for political humor? You think you're at the Daily Show with Trevor Noah? I like my political humor given to me by an underwear model.
What's the question?
Well, we've got Trump, we've got all these characters, and you mentioned it, Artie, and you skipped right past it.
He doesn't do politics.
Well, no, I think Trump is a comedian. Of course I want him to win. First of all, Ben Carson, there's something wrong with that guy. No one's... The way he talks like...
Yeah.
He looks like he just ate ice cream that was too cold. Or like did a line of like pharmaceutical grade cocaine. Like, I think ISIS... It looks like he did a line of coke off of cold ice cream. But Trump to me is fascinating because he says he doesn't drink, but he always sounds drunk. I'll build a wall around Mexico. When that chick from Fox News challenged him, he said, "Your pussy's bleeding." But yeah, so I would vote for Trump as a comedian, sure. But again, I'm a felon.
Anybody have a question about the podcast or about somebody? Yeah. This gentleman here. Well, I don't think Artie necessarily knows the story of Cesar Romero and the Oranges.
Cesar Romero and the Oranges?
Okay.
Gilbert will tell it.
Cesar Romero was the Joker on the Batman TV show, right?
Correct.
And
You dynamic dimwits.
I didn't want this show to go by without mention of Cesar Romero.
This guy's a plant.
Well, this is when a lot of people say to the show, bye.
Yeah. Cesar Romero, and picture him in the Joker makeup.
How else do we picture him?
He was gay, even though he was a Latin lover on screen. And he would gather like these boy toys.
Allegedly.
And allegedly. And then
He's not going to sue Frank. Don't worry.
They'd circle him. And he'd pull down his pants and underwear.
Right.
And these boy toys of his would throw orange wedges at his ass.
That's when you've done everything.
Yeah. Some people have argued it was tangerine. We know.
Well, those people are assholes.
We've asked
Those people are homophobic assholes.
We're sure it was a citrus fruit. That's all we know.
Would you have gay sex to get a part in a movie? I'd have gay sex to get out of a couple of your movies. We got to go. They're doing a live girl code here.
I don't think we can top that. Thank you guys for coming out. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to the show. Thank you, Artie Lang.
And it's
Thank you.
Gilbert Gottfried's amazing Colossal podcast with my co-host Frank Santopadre.
Thank you.
Our guest was Artie Lang.
Thank you, Artie.
Thank you, Artie.